Come on, Sunderland, please. Not done yet, lads. Come on. Come on. Yes! Thank you. Heavens for that. Apologies if you couldn't hear the audio very well in the intro, but let's just say it wasn't as windy and wet as it was against Stoke. Well, it wasn't. Well, it was raining, damp, it was showering a little bit, but it was freezing. Let's put it that way. It's definitely a northeast thing where we're absolutely freezing with tits off, basically. But yeah, it was worth it in the end, wasn't it? A quick shout out to Phoebe, my friend, who's a lovely girl. She's a Norwich fan. I think she came up all this. She's a really committed person for away day. She makes me look quite tame, to be honest. So I'll probably go about half a dozen away games a season. But commiserations to her, and commiserations obviously to the top Norwich City lads. And by the way, they're an absolutely fantastic YouTube channel. I'd recommend you go and subscribe to them. Chris Reeve in particular is great with me. We talk back and forth all the time. He was quite adamant. Well, both of them said we'd win, but Chris in particular was adamant that we were going to get a nice, easy win, because but as we know, there's no such thing in the Championship. Unless you came up against Sunderland in 2017-18, then I think anyone coming up against us, it would have been an easy win. But either way, look, I got the score right, and very quickly, it was great to meet Mad Mistake before kick-off as well. It was lovely to see him. So give Mad Mistake and the Fan TV lads and Jamsani, Jalsy and Steve, Alt Ending, whoever else, every single Sunderland YouTuber, Eddie Bamba, give them all a bit of love this Christmas. But anyway, on to the game itself. I think that obviously, let's get the quick negative out of the way. While it's great that we are coming from behind and we've got 10 points in the last 4 games from losing positions, that's a great trait to have, don't get me wrong. But I wish we'd stop going behind. I wish we'd start keeping clean sheets again and actually stop giving the opposition something to hang on to. And while, don't get me wrong, it's good if you can keep coming back, brilliant. I just don't want us to be in a situation where we're pressuring ourselves, I'll do that again, where we're pressuring ourselves to have to do that repeatedly, because it's not as sustainable really as what you'd like to hope it would be. But either way, it was great to come from behind to win a game again. And the defending for the Norwich goal, I think apparently there's criticism of Pato in the build-up. I need to watch it back. But it was a scramble all over the place defensively. It wasn't good enough. And the first half, I think we really struggled to sort of get into our rhythm. And truthfully, I mean, apart from I think maybe a shot over the bar that they had since the goal, Norwich I didn't think did all that much. But I think we just were struggling to impact the game and struggling to impact our own game. Norwich were quite theatrical actually when playing against us today, but I'm not going to blame Norwich for that. And the quick thing I'll mention about the referee, because I know people probably will be bored of it and you'd be right to be. But all I'll say is the referee has got to stamp out theatrics, got to stamp out players rolling on the floor, whatever else it is. And fair enough. If you're going to be Norwich, you're going to do that. So that's absolutely fair enough. But the referees have got to stamp it out. The ref today had absolutely no control of the game. And for both teams, by the way. There were some decisions that we got, like getting little throw-ins for Sunderland, when really clearly that was a Norwich throw-in or free kick any day of the week. It's just little things like that. Again, I keep on saying, I know there's debate about Championship, VAR in the Championship. And while I get the arguments against VAR, the standard of refereeing simply cannot be allowed to continue. But anyway, I'm not going to mention the refs much here because I've done it enough. Being 1-0 down at half-time, obviously we had to come from behind. And I think the biggest thing was the equaliser and the timing of the equaliser. Right at the start of the second half, and it was a really important moment in the game because Norwich's lead was wiped out and it was back to square one again. And from there, the momentum with Sunderland, the home crowd, it was a really big moment in the game itself. And then obviously you had Cordoba, who got his 2 yellow cards. By the time a referee has the bottle to send someone off against us, put it that way. But whether both his offences were yellow cards, I'm not sure, but I need to look at it back. But either way, to be fair, Sunderland did take advantage of it, and Bellingham of course gets another goal, and it was really good to see. And hopefully this silences he's only being talked about because his brother's Jude Bellingham, because unless you tell every scout that, then he's not very good and just let him stay at Sunderland for life. To be fair, there were times today with Bellingham where he's done this a few times in the last few games, where he's running into danger and trying to skill his way out of the opposition. But sometimes he ends up losing it in critical areas, and we've been fortunate that the opposition haven't capitalised. And it wasn't just him. Ballard did it at least once in the second half. 09 did it at least once in the second half. So I was screaming my head off at the two of them. I'm all for playing out from the back, and I know a lot of fans like to see it, and I do. It's quite nice to watch when it works, but don't do it in silly areas. That's the one thing we need to start getting into our game. I can get Bellingham doing it to a degree, but 09 and Ballard should be experienced enough not to do so. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We've won the game. And the World Cup, I think obviously there was a moment even towards the end of the game when Norwich, I think it was a Norwich effort on goal. And I can't remember if it went past Pato or if everything was kind of a blur in the way it went together, but I'm pretty sure they hit the post at 2-1 down, even with 10 men. So that goes in, it's 2-2, it's a different story, isn't it? But look, with everybody above us annoyingly having to win, like it was really important to keep getting a win, keep on pace with the top two. And I believe Middlesbrough dropped points below us. I can't remember if anybody else did. I might be wrong. But, well, obviously Burnley beat Watford, so Watford dropped points. So we're getting hopefully, if we're not going to get top two, start to get a bit of a gap to 7th or ideally 5th and 6th. But either way, it was important to win, and we've got to just keep staying in the mix until January. And then the onus is on Speakman and Harvey to deliver. But anyway, guys, I'll love you and leave you there. Safe trip to all the Norwich fans who've come up. And yeah, fair enough. Look, and the last thing I'll say is, if you're watching the video, you're not a regular sub, and you think I've earned it from you, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share the video around. That'd be much appreciated. And Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas to everyone who shows me a baffling levels of support, but it is much appreciated. Christmas can be a very difficult time for a lot of people, myself included, really, because it was a few weeks ago, 18 years ago, my mother passed away. So it's quite a difficult time in a lot of ways. But yeah, just show love to everybody this Christmas. And everyone, take care of yourselves. Enjoy time with your loved ones if you can. That's what Christmas is there for. And yeah, I shall see you against Blackburn. I'm going to both Stoke and Blackburn. Fingers crossed nothing silly happens like getting ill or anything. But yeah, take care, guys. Love you all lots. Merry Christmas. Out with the lads.